Hello everyone, this is Bentley, and today we're going to do a channel update, kind of, and then we're going to take some updates around the various tanks in the house, as well as some projects I'm working on. Just as a kind of a quick catch-up, you guys have probably seen some stuff either on Instagram or in the community page. Tails swimming around there. So, let's start with, I guess you say like the channel update side of things, and then we'll walk around the tanks and give you an update of what's really going on. So, first, just a giant thank you to all you wonderful people. I mean, the channel's passed 2,500 subscribers, which was not something I ever thought was gonna happen. Not this fast. I've been doing kind of YouTube kind of seriously for about a year, and I thought, yeah, maybe I'll get like 500 in that period of time, not 2,500. So just thank you. You guys always kind of humble me. You're always super nice in the comments. I mean, there's the occasional internet jerk, but that's normal, right? It's nothing compared to the other genres of YouTube and stuff like that. But it's always super humbling to have the ability to help people or educate people or just BS to a camera about a thing I love and know that there are that many other people who love the same thing that they're willing to watch. And really it's probably me just babbling like a crazy person, but thank you. I really appreciate it. So with that in mind, the biggest struggle for any YouTube channel is I guess you'd say, like, once you get to a certain part where you're like, I'm a successful YouTuber. Not this guy. No. I mean, yeah, you guys, because of you, the channel is monetized. I know you guys have seen the little advertisements. I'm trying to keep it to a minimum. I'm not trying to put advertisements in the middle of a video, and my plan is to never do that. I'm sure someone's going to, prove me wrong 5 years in the future or something where I do it once on like an hour-and-a-half long video or some nonsense, but the goal is never to have something in the middle. It's only to have it at the beginning and maybe the end. That way, they're skippable. I'm never going to do the unskippable stuff. I don't like those. Me as a user doesn't like them, so I don't want to ever put those on you guys. There's that, but until you get pretty big, and we're talking like 30, 40,000 subscribers, you're making if you're lucky, $5 a video. It's not a lot, right? We're certainly, we YouTubers who, when you get monetized, you're certainly not raking in the money. Is it nice? Yeah, it pays for fish food. That's kind of what I look at it as. It's like, oh, it pays for fish food or something like that, or it pays like a small fraction of my power bill or some nonsense, like the dumb stuff like that. That you're like, this is how I logic this out. This isn't some. Sorry, I want to make sure that this isn't a now he's gonna shake his can and ask for money. No. The only things I'm gonna say is that I recently signed up. When I went to ReefWorks, I got an opportunity to talk to Corey at Aquarium Co-op for like 3 hours. I mean, we sat and talked a lot. And granted, it was kind of a group conversation, but part of that was, as you guys know, I use Aquarium Co-op stuff all the time. I love Aquarium Co-op. They are my local fish store. Even though I have fish stores closer, I tend to drive the hour to Aquarium Co-op just because there are certain things that are done there that no one else does, and I appreciate them. So that being said, I talked to Corey, and he was kind of like, we should set you up. Just if you ever have a product that you like and you want to talk about it somewhere, you can link people to Aquarium Co-op and get a little kickback. So just, I guess it's more like transparency. I think this is more what this is. So I have a small affiliate partnership with Aquarium Co-op. So if I ever link a product to Aquarium Co-op's website, it's only going to be something that I personally use and I personally like. The Fluval lights is probably the best example. I've bought all of them out of my own pocket at their retail price from Corey and the Co-op. And the only reason I link them there is just because they have, now they just changed kind of his pricing around. They have the minimum price that you can legally pay online that he as a retailer can legally sell them for. There are other people who might sell them cheaper, and there's I used to work in marketing, so I understand this is what's called MAP, which is minimum advertised price. Technically, when you go under MAP, if a company is saying like we're going to enforce MAP, it'd be giant lawsuits, and it's all sorts of not fun nastiness. But Co-op just does stuff cheap. They take care of people. They have good customer service. That's kind of the only reason why I agree to it. Plus, I go there all the time. I don't really plan to do like. I'm not like hoping Fluval is going to sponsor me or anything like that. I don't even really think that I would want deals like that, because then inherently it creates a bias, right? Where like, well, you're sponsored by that guy, of course you're going to talk nice about his products. I would rather, as crazy as this might sound for YouTubers who might be in it to try and make money, I would rather spend my own money, know that the product is good, and then talk about it. This is a great example, like my Fluval light thing. They're just honestly the best light you can get without going like really, really expensive for, like ADA solar. I mean, those lights are incredible. The UNS lights, they're incredible. They're also like $400 a piece or $500 a piece. I mean, they're crazy expensive with a 1-year warranty. And I'm going to pay $500 for a light. That thing better have a freaking good warranty, you know? If something goes wrong, I don't want to be like, well, I'm out $500. It's been a year and 1 day. Woo, rough. Anyway, so there's that. I'm still not going to do... I've had people ask in the past if I have a Patreon. My intent is not to do Patreon. The only reason why I would do Patreon is if people really want to see some serious upgrades in film quality. Cameras are certainly not cheap. My current budget doesn't allow me to walk out and spend the kind of money that a good camera would be. And like, as you guys know, I have kind of two cameras. I have my cell phone, which is a Google Pixel 2, which does a majority of my shooting, and I use some moment lenses on it on occasion. And like, you can get away with a decent amount with your cell phone, but it's not... there's so many things you can't do. The color is usually a little off, things like that. Glare issues, blah, 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 blah. I could probably babble about like an hour about problems that you have with that. But at the same time, you get used to them, you learn to overcome them to take some decent footage. And then I also have a fairly old DSLR camera that I bought from Joel, which is a Canon SL1. And it's older, it's a good start. It's kind of a good like starting point, but many times the Pixel 2, because when I originally bought that camera, I had an older cell phone that took really bad footage. If you want to see that, just go look at like the first 3 or 4 videos on my channel. Not only are there audio issues, but holy Lord, is the footage horrible compared to what it is now. Not that the footage now is great, but it's a lot better. But that camera was kind of a nice little step up. But then when I got my Pixel 2, without doing a lot of work, the Pixel 2 shoots better photography. And as a lot of you guys know, I have 5 to 10 minutes before I go to work every day to try and like piecemeal little chunks of video together. So when I'm doing my more edited content and not just kind of babbling at you like an idiot, you'll notice that the video footage is never like, you're not seeing like a 15-minute shot or like this really, I almost never have this really nice cinematic footage where I've done all this work, as much as I would love to do like the crazy stuff like Tank Tested and Alex does, where it's beautiful cinematic footage. It's just absolutely stunning and gorgeous. My schedule just doesn't allow that. If you've seen my Instagram, I recently got an award from my work, which it's like all this flowery stuff that basically says you work too much, here's an award. It's like, it's a execution mindset or something like that, which basically just means, I bashed my face against the wall a lot, and they decided, we'll give you a small award for that. But, so because of the way my schedule is, because, most of the guys that are doing really good edited filmed content, they're spending 4 and 5 hours filming in a day. My schedule just doesn't allow that, unfortunately. I would love to be able to do that kind of stuff, but I'm a working professional who lives in absolutely miserable traffic, so it's certainly not in my schedule. But the goal is to, regardless, is to work around those constraints and deliver good educational content for you guys. And you know, let you guys kind of decide some certain things that might not be educational. A great example will be chatting with my cousin Henry. So we'll get away from like here's the weird stuff I'm doing. And to kind of just summarize, basically, and maybe comment down below. My only reason I would ever look at Patreon would be specifically to upgrade equipment. And that's because, you know, good DSLRs or mirrorless, really mirrorless is what you want for fish just because of the way that they work. They're a little better until you start spending crazy money. But, you know, you're looking at like $2,000 or $3,000 to do a good camera and a good lens. Yeah, that's not in my budget at all. As much as I wish it was. But I think that'd be the only reason I'd ever look at like Patreon. For right now, I'm not going to. And I've had, I think it's like 6 or 7 different people ask me like, hey, do you have a Patreon? I'd like to tip in. And some of you might be like, why aren't you doing it? Just save up over time. There's why. So, I mean, comment down below if you guys, and like, you know, lots of the YouTubers out there, they work with Aquarium Co-op or somebody else. I have an Amazon thing too, but whatever. Everybody's got an Amazon thing. It doesn't cost you extra, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? It's only if the product's not at Aquarium Co-op. Like those trays that Dean uses in his fry system, he got them specifically from a store, but they're carried on Amazon as well. So when, you know, I link little things like that, it's either something I used or someone that I've worked with who specifically said, oh, I got this product, it's this exact thing, and you guys could get it from Amazon rather than like some niche crazy store they walked into. So again, it's, I think I've made like $3 from Amazon. I'm rich. I can buy half a Starbucks coffee. But it's things like that. We're just, I want to be really transparent to you guys because I don't want anyone to think that like now that he's got some very tiny modicum of success, he's gonna write it to some. I'm a working professional. I do YouTube for fun, and as long as it stays fun and I get an opportunity to interact with you awesome people, that's how long I will be doing YouTube, pending no horrible health things happen. But so let's get away from that. So I talked to my cousin yesterday, and so for those of you who are watching, I'm recording this Friday. That'll be Thursday. I've been so busy this week that I'm way behind on my recording and editing. He was actually really psyched. Several members of our family had watched the video where we talked, and one thing I wanted to be clear on, the Petco horror stories and things like that. I had a lot of people in the comments who were actually really worried that I was just going to bash on Petco's so horrible. They're such blah, 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 blah. I had an experience once in this one store. It means all of them are bad. No, not the point of that series. And I say series because Henry's on board to do another one. Yeah. He's actually really jazzed to do another one. He had a lot of fun, which is good because I think you guys really enjoyed listening to my cousin talk about Crazy PETA Lady, or, you know, the gal who brought in a rattlesnake. If you guys haven't seen that, by the way, I'll link it down below. It's super fun. We're a couple goofballs. We laugh through a lot of it. The intro should tell you that right off the kick. But the goal of that is more to show, like, I guess you'd say from the employer, or employee, not employer, employee perspective, the crazy things that can happen working at a Petco. Henry was very fortunate in that he's worked at 2 Petcos, one as a volunteer and then one as a true full-time employee, and both of them are actually really good shops. And still, from my knowledge, still are to this day. We talked about one thing we might do is we might go into his old Petco and walk around and film. Let me know if you guys want to see that, because if so, we'll find a way to make it happen. We both have pretty busy schedules. We see each other. It took me 3 weeks to get the schedule to line up so that we could sit down and do that. So it's kind of one of those things, but definitely going to have another one with Henry. We'll do some more Petco horror stories maybe, or maybe we'll do some Petco positive stories, just things that will make you guys see that, like, you know, not every big box store is like the great the great evil presence way out there or something, right? Some of them are actually good. His was good, which is a rare opportunity as far as some people are concerned. Luckily out here, there's actually quite a few that are good, but that's because they have to compete against a lot of very great mom and pop stores that are still strong and have been here for a very long time. So there's that. That's the next big thing. Now, we'll jump into some footage. I want to show you guys around the fish room, just kind of some updates on a couple tanks that I haven't shown in a while. The Guppy Palace, the Plants for Profit tank, which has the Kochu Tetras. I actually had a comment asking, like, how are your Kochu Tetras doing? So we'll kind of show them. Unfortunately, when I filmed this, it was super bright in that area, and there's a lot of glare. So the Kochu Tetra footage is not the best. But then also we've got some 10 gallons up and running to start hatching rainbow fry. And we're doing some other stuff to make room for more rainbow fry. So, that being said, I'm going to start breeding some rainbows. You guys are going to get to see that. So we'll do a quick update inside the fry and plant grow out room. And then also, if you paid attention to the community tab or Instagram, I love both. The community tab just lets me kind of elaborate a little more. You notice I took down some stuff in the display room and something else was going in there. Well, it's not set up fully, but it's temporarily in its place while we work on doing some plumbing work. So that should tell you it's a tank. So let's show you that too. So let's go ahead and hop over to the video, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap this thing up. So here we are in the kind of fry and plant grow room, and we're looking at the Guppy Mansion. You can see just how much light is coming through when I film this, and lots of glare. So, but what you can kind of see, other than some of the fish here and there, is it's gotten a little overgrown. I've had some Ludwigia go really crazy. The Pogostemon octopus is going nuts in here. This basically just requires a ton of trimming, which I'm going to do this weekend. And all the Ludwigia that's in here and some of the Rotala, that's all going to leave this tank. It was just here for a temporary grow out. I've got some Ireo. You can see from the top here just how much Ludwigia is there, and that's like a quarter of it. That's all going to go to a new project, which we'll show you in a second. So I'm going to kind of kick around to the long view here, just so you can kind of see the guppies. As you can see, tons and tons and tons of adults, lots of babies. I would guess, and you can just see how dense that, that Ludwigia is, but I would guess there's probably somewhere like at least 800 fish in this tank right now, which, you know, they're all small fish. This is a big system. It has lots of filtration. That's perfectly fine. We do big water changes, but just they're doing happy. Colors are looking good. Unfortunately, with the glare, it's really hard to capture on my camera, but lots of people have had guppies. We're getting to good weather. I might ship a few more guppies out, so stay tuned on that. I think I'm just going to put them on Get Gills if I do. If you're interested, you're welcome to email me, all that kind of stuff, but just know that, like, I can finally ship again. I'll probably, like, start shipping some plants, or maybe if you're coming to AGA. If you're coming to AGA, let me know. Maybe we'll just let you take some home. And then there's a little side shot here that lets you see some of the blue. You see, I kind of put my finger here in just a sec, trying to get the horde to come out of the corner where I can see them instead of, like, right in the glare of my shirt against the acrylic. But, you can just see, like, this horde of guppies, even in this corner, and there's hundreds more in this tank. So, as always, I love this tank. I just sit and watch it all the time. The plants just go buck wild in this thing, so it's definitely a very healthy system. We've even seen the SAEs that are in here breed. We haven't seen fry, but we've seen breeding behavior, which is super cool. I've never seen it before. And I've got some footage. I'll try to include that in maybe a little side video or something at some point. So let's go over to the Plants for Profit tank, where the Kochu Tetras are, and this is where you can see, like, how bad the glare is. I can barely see, you actually see, like, the inside of my lens reflecting off my filter. There's just too much light and it's overpowering it. But you can see some of the Kochu Tetras just zipping around here. This is right before a water change. We had a lot of evaporation. It's been really warm this week. But the tank's doing well overall. You know, I've lost some Kochu Tetras here and there. They tend to jump. If you ever own Kochu Tetras, make sure you have a good lid. And in a plant tank, I tend to not have them. But check this shot out of all these immersed plant growth and a ton of duckweed that showed up in my tank, which I'm not thrilled about, and I've got to deal with. That's another part of my weekend, is trying to deal with that. So we'll kind of move over where the rainbow fry are, and above them, here are the 3 tanks I was talking about. So I've got these 3 running. And you can see we did some early testing. There's no heaters in these tanks. We're just going to go off ambient room temperature, and we're kind of doing some tests. You can see those tests written on the glass. They have little corner box filters and one little floating wisteria just to give some cover, and a little bit of maybe infusoria food. And you can just see here's like, the rainbows right below them. We're going to do some fry. So we'll kind of speed over here. The real major project I absolutely have to do this weekend is I've got to clean up this angelfish tank. Like, this is just, one, it's kind of this crazy jungle. But two, the only place for the angelfish really to hide right now is in the back, is where they have some open room. And it's just so crazy dense up front. Like you can see, it's just a wall of green and red. That definitely has to get cleaned up. I'm just going to chop basically all of it out, sort it, replant a little, and then quite a bit of the Ludwigia that's mixed in here. I'm just going to make kind of a mixed Ludwigia tank in an upcoming project that you'll see in just a sec. If you've been watching the community tab, you've seen some of that stuff. I'll kick to the side here, and you can sort of see through the glare where I'm talking about, where it's basically where the filter is. That part of the tank is where there's some space for the angels to move around, and the front has just, in the last week, gotten real crazy. So I've definitely got to clean this thing up. Below them is the Shellies. Again, we're just going over some tanks I haven't shown in a while. They're doing good. I still don't light them. They get lots of ambient light. You can see the horde of them just kind of swimming around, happy as can be. There, again, they need a water change too. This is all happening basically this day, and this day being Saturday. So I recorded Friday, but Saturday's their water changes. And then over here in the Rainbows tank where the Bosmani are, you can see there's a mop already ready. We're going to start getting eggs and start breeding. So now we jump to the display room. And you can see there's the corner tank, there's the big rainbow community. And here's where the 10 gallons used to be. And they're definitely not 2 10 gallons anymore. So we took that entire rack out. There used to be bookshelves that were as storage. And now instead we've got this really awesome acrylic tank that was made by Clear Fabrications. And that kind of haze up front is, there's still a little bit of light cleaning that needs to be done. Really simple stuff. And then we'll pan over, you can see what's missing. The 29's still there. A little block so the cats don't get into it. They were drinking water out of the tank. Ooh, I forgot this got really dark. Anyway, this is what we're working on this weekend. We're going to get this thing, for the most part, up and running. You can see we've got a pretty simple wet-dry sump underneath. But it does have extra overflow chambers, so kind of some safety brackets for it. We're going to put a bunch of Ludwigia in this, and then the party animals, the Chilatharina blaheri, they're moving into this tank. And it's going to be pretty sweet. I'll film the process as it goes along. Well, there you go, guys. There is a quick jaunt around the two, so the grow room and the display room. Some big changes. I've got a lot of plant work to do, honestly. I got a lot of work to get done. But I can get it done, thankfully, because of my awesome roommate, Terry. So big shout out to Terry, just because he makes a lot of the stuff easier now that he's back here. He was kind of gone for a while, taking care of some family business. Now he's back. Makes my life a little easier. And as you can tell with that tank, it's because of him that it's in its current place. He's been helping a lot with it. I've been kind of doing some direction stuff and some minor work, but he's done the bulk of it. So big thanks to him because he's awesome. So I mentioned AGA. Are you going to be at AGA? It's not that far from now. It's the first weekend of May 2nd through the 5th. The really big ones are like the 3rd, 4th, 5th. Are you going to be at AGA? Comment down below, let me know, because I might let a select group of folks, we'll see, come over and tour my place. I don't live very far from where AGA is, so if people are interested, or maybe you just want to see the guppies, maybe you want to take some guppies home, we can probably figure something out. Other than that, just kind of wanted to show you guys some of the projects that are going on. We're definitely breeding some rainbows. We're definitely moving some fish. We're upgrading some tanks. We have that other tank that I'm working on with Joel. Once that gets done, even more fish will move out of the fry room so that we'll have more free tanks in order to start breeding some more fry. And that's when I will probably start breeding some, either A, just a ton more Bosmani, or B, I think I'm also going to breed probably 3 tanks worth of Chilatharina aleni wapogas. So those guys are really sweet. A friend has a pair that is not really a big breeder, but kind of wants them to be bred. So she's going to let me kind of borrow them for a little while and put them to work. So that being said, I've got a lot of work to do. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, stay awesome. Are you still here? But why are you gone? All right. How about this? You stayed this long. You listen to me babble. One secret. Okay, just one. It's one. If you're coming to AGA and you find me and you have a way to take them home, one free pair of Guppies. Yeah, you heard it. Free. I'm gonna have a headache at AGA, aren't I? Stay awesome.